Hello, friends. This is Benjamin from English Classes Online. And in today's video, we are going to look at 8 keys to success in content creation. On this channel, we teach areas of proficiency in the use of English. And at the same time, we teach content creation skills because we believe that a language is a powerful tool for creating content. And once you are able to create valuable content, then of course, you have the right to monetize the content as well. So on this channel, we teach you how to use the English language as an effective means of communication and also as a tool for creating content so that you can, by creating valuable content, also create multiple streams of income on various online platforms. So if you are new to the channel and you are interested in videos like this, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Click on the bell icon as well so that whenever a new video goes live on this channel, you will be instantly notified. Without much ado, let's dive into the lesson right away, and let's have the full screen for a clearer view. Now, let's begin with the agenda for today's episode. We have 8 items on our agenda, and these are the 8 keys to success in content creation. The first one, of course, is audience appeal. Okay, that's the first one, audience appeal. The second one is originality of ideas. The third one, clarity and focus. Number 4, we have organization. 5, we have development. 6, we have expression. 7, we have linguistic correctness. And 8, we have political correctness, okay? So these are the 8 keys to success in content creation. So let's begin to take them one by one, okay? Now, the first one is audience appeal, and I believe you know what audience is all about. Now, when you create content, you are not creating content for yourself, you are creating content for your target audience, and your audience consists of people who are message you convey, who are interested in the ideas you want to share with them. They are interested in the pieces of information you provide because these pieces of information provide answers to their frequently asked questions or provide solutions to their problems, okay? And so for your content to have audience appeal, or for it to appeal to the audience or grab their attention and engage them, you should present an idea that captures people's attention, an idea that appeals to the target audience. And for an idea to appeal to someone or some people, that idea must meet a specific need. That idea must provide a solution to someone's definite problem. Of course, the value of everything is based on the problem it can solve or the question it can answer, okay? So audience appeal is the first key to success in content creation. And what this means is that you need to identify your audience and you need to identify what they like, what they enjoy listening to, or what they enjoy watching if you are going to create videos, or what they enjoy reading if you are going to create, content that is readable. So that is about audience appeal. Let's now go to the next item, which is originality of ideas. Your ideas should be attractive, but your ideas should even much more importantly be original. Okay, your idea should not be someone else's idea that you have copied. Okay, so that is one thing that we ought to understand here. Okay, sorry about this. Let me adjust this so we can see this quite clearly. Okay, so the idea should be unique and original. It should be an idea created by you. Mindless lifting of other people's ideas renders a piece of writing or a piece of content or fake and substandard. Whatever content you create, if it is someone's idea that you have just stolen, then of course that makes that content substandard. It makes it illegal. Okay, so the authenticity of the content you present or share with your audience is based on the originality of that ideas. Of course, you know that there are laws against plagiarism. When you copy other people's ideas and then you bring them into your website or your blog or your online platform, and then you assume or pretend that these ideas are yours. I mean, it is against copyright laws in many countries. Of course, you could be sued for intellectual theft. And so originality of ideas is really very important. It is also important to note that you have to also know what other people are doing, but you don't have to copy them verbatim. You don't have to be a copycat. Okay, you can research into other people's fields of knowledge and also examine what other people are doing, but you don't have to take what they have already created and then assume that these pieces of content belong to you. No, you need to come out with your own ideas, even if you have to borrow from other people's things and try to look at what they are doing. You have to reconstruct everything to be your own idea. You don't have to copy people word for word, because that will be a violation, a flagrant violation of copyright laws. And when you copy other people's ideas, and probably people have already consumed those other people's content, when they come to your platform, they see exactly the same thing. I mean, it looks monotonous. And so when there is no originality, is that idea did not originate with you. If you are not the inventor of that idea, then of course you also lose the moral authority to even present these ideas, because if you actually invent an idea through extensive research, and these ideas are your are products of your imagination, then of course that gives you a greater authority. When presenting them, you present them, with greater authority, because these ideas are yours and you didn't just try to cram them, if you like, just memorize other people's ideas. No, you will not have the authority to present the ideas. And even when you try to present the ideas, these ideas will not flow naturally, because you will always experience some, blank. You will go blank at some point, because these ideas did not actually originate with you. So originality of ideas is one of the keys, and of course, when you know your onions, when you are an authority, when you are in total command of your subject or your skill, again, it gives you a stamp of authority. It gives you that authenticity and that authority, because your presentation of these ideas will also show your audience that you are an expert in this field. So it is very important that you create original ideas rather than just, copying other people's ideas that they spent time researching and inventing. Now, having said that, let's now go to the next point, which is clarity and focus. Very, very important. Your ideas should be clear. The content you present should be clear. And for it to be clear or convey a very clear message, it should have focus. That means you must have focus. You must focus on a particular thing, a particular idea. You must have a main idea that you focus on, okay, for you to be able to convey a clear message. One, it should discuss a single clear central idea. For example, if you want to take a photograph or produce a video clip, for example, then your camera, that electronic device that is used in capturing the image, should be focused on the particular image you want to capture. If you do not focus on a single image at a given time, you won't be able to capture it. So if you are just moving your video camera, from one place to another, digressing, so to say, without really focusing on one thing, you might succeed in capturing a lot of images, but you have not succeeded in capturing one major image. But when you focus the lens of your camera on the object of your interest, then you will capture it in its beauty and splendor, okay? And this is applicable to content creation. When you are creating a content, you need to discuss a single clear central idea at a given point in time so that your audience will know what you are talking about. For example, we are discussing 8 keys to success in content creation. But you see, we are taking these 8 ideas, these 8 main ideas, we are taking them one by one. And so I pick one idea and I discuss this idea and develop this idea and give different examples of this idea. And by so doing, I give you a very clear and complete view of that major thing I am talking about. Okay, so that is clarity. Okay, and then you should not raise so many issues without zeroing in on a specific idea. If your content does that, then of course there will be ambiguity because things will not be clear. There is a saying that a rolling stone gathers no moss. And this also is applicable to content creation. If you do not focus on a particular thing and then stick to it until you develop the idea for clarity and full understanding, then of course, even your audience will get bored because they won't be able to hold a particular idea. You know, if you are disseminating knowledge, then those who are consuming this knowledge should be able to follow your line of thought and they should be able to take notes where necessary. So the bottom line is that there should be main ideas. When you create content, your content should be capable of being summarized. Somebody should be able to say, well, these are the main ideas that this guy had discussed. Okay? Now let's move to the next. And the next item is organization. Okay? Everything that you can provide to your audience in terms of content should actually be well organized, because whether it is written content or spoken content or graphic content, whatever it is, of course, it should have a definite structure. For example, in essay writing, in simple essay writing, you are taught that every good piece of writing should have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Okay, so you must have a way to organize your ideas into a definite structure, and that's really what we are talking about. Now, let's look at two things that constitute organization. The entire piece of writing should be organized logically. That means the ideas being expressed should flow smoothly and stick together. That's one main thing about organization. The entire piece of writing or video clip or audio clip, should be organized logically. The ideas being expressed should flow smoothly and stick together. These ideas should be organized into logical groups, okay? And then the second thing is that for you to achieve this objective, then your content should have a definite structure, such as an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. The traditional parts of an essay or composition. So organization has to do with arranging various parts into a complete structure. Your content is like a building, so creating contents is like building a house. And if you are going to build a house, your house has to have a roof, it has to have a foundation, it has to have the floor, it has to have walls, it has to have windows and doors and so on and so forth. And so a structure is made up of various parts. And so when you create content, your content should have a beginning, a middle, and an ending, as the case may be. And of course, the structure of content or a given piece of content depends on the type of content and the format as well. Okay, so organization is one of the keys to success. If your content is well organized, what happens is that you make this content accessible. You also make it easy to consume, because your target audience will be able to know where to begin and then how to continue, okay? And that actually enables them to be able to assimilate the ideas that you are sharing with them. Now, let's go to point number 5, and that item number 5 is development. You know, we have said that there should be organization, and the idea of organization presupposes that there should be different parts. So development has to do with, you know, making sure that every part of this structure is really built the way it should be. For example, if you are laying a foundation, of course, after digging the foundation, you should actually fill the foundation with the appropriate structure and bring it to uh, the, the floor level, for example. And then your floor should actually be properly done. And then when you build the walls should actually be built to lintel level, and from the lintel level to the roofing level, and as the case may be. So a building needs to be developed. It is not enough to lay a foundation for a house. If you don't build the structures and make sure that all the other parts of the house are all developed, then you won't have a house, you will have an uncompleted building. So what do we mean by development when it comes to content creation? Let's look at it more critically. Well, let me move this, okay? Let me try to move this. Okay, so now, it means that the central idea of the write-up or the content should have supporting ideas that should be discussed in several paragraphs. You know, we are looking at the example of a written piece of content, okay? If you are writing an essay or an article, of course, it should be made up of different paragraphs. And what this means is that when you come to the first paragraph, which is the introductory paragraph, then you should be able to include the various ingredients. Of course, the main thing is the hook and then the thesis. But then you should also have other things that will that should be included to make up a rich introductory paragraph. For example, you can have the background information of the subject matter. You can have enumeration. The key points you want to discuss in the body paragraph could be summarized in a sentence. Then you can have an intro and so on and so forth. Now, if you are discussing one of the main ideas in a particular paragraph, for example, paragraph 2, you can begin with a topic sentence which states the main idea you want to discuss in that paragraph, but then there should be supporting details. Other sentences should back up the point, the key point you have already raised, okay? So that is development, okay? And so each paragraph should support or be related to the central idea of the paper. The idea of each paragraph should be explained and illustrated with examples and supporting details. In some cases, you may have also to provide facts and figures. Okay, so you need to give sufficient information to back up the key ideas you have raised, okay? And that is what will make your content well developed, just as a house that you began from the foundation is developed until it is roofed, and of course, other facilities, other things needed in the house are also included to make it a complete house. That's how content, for content to be rich, to be of high quality, and to be appealing to the audience, it should be well developed. Now, that brings us to point number 6, and that is expression, because it is not enough to have ideas that you want to share with people. What is even more important is your ability to convey the intended message. You know, a lot of people have some good ideas and good intentions, but they just lack the linguistic competence to express their ideas. And this is really one of the keys to success, one of the pillars of content creation. Expression is key. And then we are looking at two main aspects of expression here. Number one, the language used should be accurate and appropriate to the type and purpose of writing. That is the appropriate register. For example, each subject or discipline or field of human activity that you are discussing has to have a kind of language that is unique to it. For example, if you are discussing sports, there are words and phrases that are frequently associated with sports. And even in sports, if you are talking football, the words you use in discussing football will be different from the words you use in discussing tennis or basketball or high jump, as the case may be. So if you are discussing computers or digital technology, you use the words associated with that field. So that is what Jonathan Swift, a notable English scholar, meant when he said that, you know, your ability to put proper words in proper places is what makes you a professional writer. Of course, that gives you that authoritative style as a content creator. You should be able to know words that are appropriate to the topic you are discussing. Okay, your choice of words should be appropriate. That is critical to expression. That is central to expression, which of course is what adds value and quality to the content you create. That is also what makes your content authentic, because if someone is reading what you have written or listening to a speech you have delivered, of course, your choice of words is critical because it is your choice of words that will go a long way to conveying the intended message. Then the next thing is that you must use concise and clear language. This is very, very important, okay? If you are unable to express your ideas, what happens is that your audience will not be able to understand what you are really emphasizing, okay? Now, for people to actually follow and consistently, you know, go ahead to have interest in your content, they should be able to understand the message you are conveying. And the message you are conveying should resonate with them. Okay? So, and all these can happen only if you are able to express your ideas with clarity. Okay? So that is about clarity of expression. And of course, there are different aspects of clarity that I will not have enough time to really talk about here. But, you know, when your content is focused and when your content is well developed and when your content is actually the idea that you took time to invent, having researched into it, then all these put together will actually also help to increase your expression, because expression is really key. For example, in English grammar, when you speak in sentences, and when you write in sentences. So the largest grammatical unit is the sentence, and so sentence construction is a vital part of expression, because we define a sentence as a group of words that has the subject-verb combination and expresses a complete thought or a complete idea. Now, you can see when you try to convey your message in phrases, then what happens is that you will be conveying incomplete ideas. But if you are able to construct correct sentences, meaningful sentences, and also have the ability to vary your sentences, use simple sentences where necessary, use compound necessary sentences where necessary, use complex sentences where necessary, use a variety of sentences, of course, you exhibit creativity with the use of language, and of course that will increase the amount of interest that your target audience will really have in your content. So expression is a major key to success in content creation. So number 7 is linguistic correctness, okay? Of course, I have almost discussed that also while talking about, expression. But you see, linguistic correctness has to do with your ability to actually adhere to the rules of correctness in grammatical concord, in tense, all right, in punctuation and capitalization. Your ability to adhere strictly to the rules of the language that you are using. When we talk about English grammar, we are referring to the rules that govern how we use English. For example, there are rules that govern how you arrange words within the sentence structure. Okay? When we look at grammatical concord, you should understand, for example, that one of the major rules, let's even talk about the first rule of concord. Okay, the first rule of concord, let me use a different color here now. Okay. Okay, so here, the first rule of concord is that is what we call a, subjects, okay? Subject, verb, okay? What's happening here? Okay? Subject, verb, agreement. Well, it's not moving. Well, let me erase this and okay. Well, I just want to write it down so that perhaps we can use a different color. Okay. Well, let's use this color. Yes. I think it can be seen. So, sorry. Subject, verb, agreement. Okay, what's really happening here? subject-verb agreement, and this rule states that, okay, a single subject sorry, something is really not quite. Well, this is a typo here. Well, sorry. A single subject well, something is really not quite correct here. Well, that's okay. Let me see what can happen. Let me come down to different line. It says that, okay, something is really not all right here. Okay. Well, let me see if I can state it here. Something is not quite correct. Well, why is this not really working? It's okay, I think there's something really not quite in order here. Okay. A singular, please. Well, let me see if I can just simply undo something. That option is not here. See, something is really not quite working here. Well, it's okay. Since the writing device is misbehaving, let me just state the rule verbally. You see, the rule of Concord states that a singular subject requires a singular verb. For example, if you say John is a boy, you cannot say John a boy. You see, you cannot say John are a boy because John is a singular subject and should take a singular verb, is. Is the singular and are is the plural. So, or if you say Messi plays football, you cannot say Messi play football. You can say Messi and Ronaldo play football. The boys are playing. But it is wrong to say the boys is playing or the boy are playing. So a singular subject requires a singular verb and the plural subject requires a plural verb. For example, so That is an aspect of linguistic correctness. Of course, when we are looking at linguistic correctness, we are looking essentially at grammaticality, because when you break the rules, any of the grammatical rules, then your expression will become ungrammatical, all right? And so that is about linguistic correctness. Now, take a look at the use of tenses as another example. You know, if you are talking about something that happened in the past, it will be incorrect to use the present tenses. You know, for example, if you say, I, 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 I traveled to Kano last week, you cannot say I travel, or I will travel to Kano last week. It's not possible. You can't use the present tense or the future tense to talk about a past event. So if you are talking about a past event, you have to use the past tense of the verb. I traveled to Kano last week, or I went to Kano last week. Okay? If you are talking about the future, you can say, well, I will travel to London next week. I will travel, or I shall travel. You use the simple future tense to talk about a future action, okay? So there are various aspects. If you are creating written content, you need to punctuate your work, and you need to use capital letters where necessary. For example, in written work, you need to obey the orthographic rules. Now, for example, a sentence is orthographically defined as a group of words that begins with a capital letter and ends with an end mark. The end mark could be a full stop, an exclamation mark, or a question mark. So these are punctuation marks that should actually be used to make your written content authentic. And if you are creating video content, there are also aspects of, your use of your linguistic idea. I mean, the various linguistic rules that need to be observed. For example, you should be able to articulate the speech sounds of the English language to make your speech intelligible to English speakers from other parts of the world. If you are, creating content in any other language, you should also be able to articulate the speech sounds of that language to make your ideas, completely accessible to your target audience. So that is linguistic correctness, okay? Very, very important in making your content completely acceptable, okay? Okay, so let's do away with this. And that brings us to the last but not the least item on our agenda, and that is political correctness. Now, here we are not really concerned with politics in terms of, vying for a political office or canvassing for votes from the electorate. That is not what political correctness means in this context. Here we are talking about your ability to use the kind of language that is free from racial, religious, or gender bias. For you to be politically correct, you should ensure that your content does not demean or castigate any race or any religion or any gender, okay? And of course, if your aim is to provide content that will be appealing, that will be acceptable to your target audience, then you don't have to create the kind of content that will offend their sensibilities. Now, if your content exhibits racial discrimination, then you will actually give the impression that you are a racist, and your audience will actually be disgusted with your content because they wouldn't like to subject themselves to a racist or to racist ideas. If you are if you create content that gives the impression that you are a religious fanatic and that you want to actually sound religiously biased, of course, you will offend the sensibilities of your audience. The same thing happens when you become a male chauvinist or essentially a female domineering feminist, for example, someone who believes that your own gender is superior to other genders. Of course, the other gender, the opposite gender, will actually feel slighted, and that will make even your content quite disgusting to them. So when you are looking at high quality content, content that is acceptable, content that is, considered to be valuable, then you have to ensure that your content is politically correct. Now, any material that smacks of racism, religious fanaticism, or gender bias is not good content for presentation on any platform. And this is why various online platforms actually have it incorporated in their rules that if you create content that actually offends a particular race or a particular religion, or that actually promotes violence against a particular group of people or a section of the society, then of course your content is not acceptable to that platform. So this is exactly what you should ensure that you do to ensure that the content you provide to your audience will be acceptable to them, and that will actually make your content highly on demand, okay? Because more and more people will, will be very much at home consuming your content. And so they will want to subscribe to your content. They will want to be part of what you are doing, and they would like to support you, okay? So this is exactly where we are going to draw the curtain on today's video. We have actually been talking about the 8 keys to success, okay, in content creation. And I hope you have enjoyed the discussion. If you have enjoyed this video, then make sure you like the video and share it with your friends and relations. This is really very important, because that is one way of giving your support to this channel. We create contents having your interest in mind, and we consistently, create this content. And the only thing that can help us and encourage us to keep on creating this content is when we know that the audience out there, all of you are highly esteemed viewers, are actually, enjoying this content, and that you appreciate this content. Of course, that gives us the motivation, that gives us the encouragement to go ahead creating the content, and in fact, upgrading our content to make it richer and richer all the time. So if you are interested in the content, if you have enjoyed this particular video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you have not subscribed, like the video, share it with your friends, and make sure you click on the bell icon as well, so that whenever a new video goes live on this channel, you will be notified instantly. Now, if you browse through the description section, you will find a lot of resources that might be helpful to you in learning content creation skills. We are organizing a program that you will find a link to in the description box. A number of programs that you can join. One of them is how to set up an online teaching business. If you are interested in learning how to set up your own online teaching business and do the things we are doing on this channel and other online platforms that will enable you also to earn income, then of course you can use my blueprints. If you join that training program, you'll be able to learn step by step the process. That training program simplifies the process. It makes it easy for you, so you don't have to go through trial and error and pass through all the pitfalls that some of us have passed through to get to this stage. So if you have that interest in creating your own online teaching business, then you can join the program. If you are going to take the IELTS test, IELTS, or Duolingo English test, then we have programs that will help you to prepare adequately and get your dream scores in any of these English proficiency tests. You will also find some ebooks that will help you to learn the English language. One of them is free, and that is the basic units of English grammar. So you can download that completely free of charge. But then you have some other ones, such as Good Success in English, a complete study package for effective English learning. And there are quite a number of other ebooks that, are based on, skill development. For example, if you want to learn one of the best digital skills of the 21st century, how to create and sell info products, you will find an ebook that will simplify the process to you, show you how to do it practically. You will also find an online course, published on Udemy at a very affordable price that you can actually follow and learn how you can begin to create your own info products, sell them, and create multiple streams of income for yourself. There are quite a number of others that you will find in the description box. So I want to say a big thank you to all of you for tuning in. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, kindly leave them in the comment section below. I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Goodbye for now, and remain blessed.